Okay.
No, and we're all set. All right. So hello and welcome to another Just Like Me interview. I'm here with a very longtime member, Karen Maguire. I think you've been around since nearly the beginning.
It feels that way.
Were
Yeah.
you around when we migrated the first membership community to the second?
I believe that's true.
Yeah.
I think I joined in either late 11 or early 12.
Yeah. So I
And
think
I
you've
know
been
that the
around.
site has changed. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have been around since the beginning. I thought that was true.
Hmm.
So thanks for being around for
Yeah.
hanging out with us for all the changes and transitions and
I can't imagine my life without it.
oh well, that's
A
very
lot of
sweet.
pressure for you, but
Well, I have a lot of help, and a lot of the members have helped a lot over the years too, and continue to help. So I continue to ask people for help, and so that's great too. So I love asking this question because it's
yes.
I always get great answers for this question, which is, what brought you to yoga? When did you start, and what was your door in?
Mm, yes. Well, I'm one of those people that started long ago, back in the 70s. And I don't know why I started. I just was looking for something. I was a new mother. I had like a 2 or 3 year old child. Can't remember how old he was. And our local high school had night classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just thought, oh, yoga, that sounds good. And I went. And by the end of the first session, the woman who was teaching it, I approached her and said, did she have other classes? And she did. And I was with her until she passed away 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, for 10 years.
Wow.
I was lucky to have my first experience was, did it for me.
That sounds like it was a really good experience.
It was wonderful.
Did she teach out of her home then?
No, she taught in various facilities. This
Mm.
was Kansas City, Missouri. And she taught around her goal was to build a yoga institute, and she never saw that happen. But near the end of her life, there was a group of us that went to her house. And at that point, she wasn't leading physical hatha yoga classes anymore, but we had our spiritual teachings and would sit with her. It was very powerful, very powerful.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So she'd teach you'd sit in a circle and she'd share the teaching.
Yeah. And we would, I don't know, it was like a really good therapy session, every week.
So you'd speak about your experience, your life experiences, and
And the group would read books, various books that she recommended, or I can't really, I don't know. There was drama, of course, some people were, she would just say who is supposed to be here, and they would walk through the door. So, yeah.
So how was that for the group when she passed then?
Well, it was not a surprise.
Uh-huh. Was she ill?
Yes, she had breast cancer.
Okay.
And which was a terrible thing anyway, but it was very powerful to have your teacher that you believe can make,
You're invincible, right?
Anything,
Yeah.
handle anything to have that. And so, we knew it was coming, and she talked to us very openly about holding her here and not holding her here, and just to let her go, because she felt like it was her time to be let go, to move on. And but she made, before she died, one member made a recording of the hatha yoga class.
Nice.
And remember audio cassettes?
Yeah.
So I had that, and after she passed away, I made something like 10 copies of this little tape. And through the years, as it would deteriorate, I'd put another one in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I always had her voice leading this class. Of course, it was the same class over and over.
Right. Yeah.
And in 2010, I think it was, the last tape broke. And I was just devastated. What can I do? And that's when I started looking around, and that's when I found you. So,
on the internet.
On the internet, yeah, in 2010.
So it's just shortly after I'd started.
Yeah, I started with number 1 class.
Really? So you found me and you are you methodical then?
Huh?
Are you quite methodical then?
Yes, I am. So, as Barry says, editors make sense out of things, or bring order. Yeah, they bring order to things. So so I don't think I found the first class, but the class I found, then I thought, oh, there must be more. So I went, and there was class 1, and I started and did them. I'm all the way up to, I haven't done Fridays yet, but I've done all of them except the one where you had a friend teach children.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It was funny. I knew I could, and I would get something out of it, but I just skipped on to the next class. So I can't say.
You have grandkids, though, don't you?
Yeah.
So there is the possibility of doing it with them, I guess. Wow. I don't know that many people have can say that they've done all of them, although some people are very methodical like that and have done all of them.
Right. Well, that was at that point. I mean, who knows how many there were in 10, Right.
That's true too. It wasn't.
I think at some point I got to waiting for that Friday, your new class.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. Right. That's for sure.
And then, eventually joined the membership side for more, and there has been.
Because at that point there would have been way more of a draw to that, right? Because there were only, we started that 2 years in, so there were only 100 free classes, which is still a lot, but it wasn't like now where there's so much. At the end of December, there'll be 365 classes. So really you could do one class every day for a year.
Absolutely. I know. Isn't that's like a box set of, novels you've written.
I know.
One a day.
I know. So when people people ask me if I'm going to write a book. Well, first of all, I don't think it's the right medium for what we're doing. But also it's like, there's enough out there already. That is my book, right?
It is.
Yeah. So that's fine.
You've changed too over the years,
Yeah.
Your teaching.
Oh, for sure.
Has changed. And so that is the life work that you're doing.
Yeah. You must see that for authors, with authors that you work with as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Well, right. Yeah. I don't do a lot of working with authors anymore, sadly. But yes.
The industry changes too.
The industry changes, and just like things on paper are dwindling, and that's, has been my whole life is books. And I compile calendars that you take a day off at a time,
Right.
And so that work is slowly leaving because people aren't buying those things anymore.
So not a resurgence kind of for that kind of nostalgia for paper now?
Yeah.
No?
I don't know. I can't see it yet, but I'm hoping,
I guess there's like a niche for it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know in my time on video that creating content for the format has really changed, or the way I think about it has changed. It used to be that I would create a class based on what I had taught to realize people.
Right.
Yeah. But now I don't think that would fly anymore.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Now I have to think about, okay, how can this be visually appealing, and it needs, I think shorter classes, more has to be happening in a shorter time. There's just also when I started, there was hardly anybody online. Now there's too many options for people to click off to somebody else if you're not interesting, grabbing their attention really quickly. So it's very different now than it was when I started.
And it will continue to evolve. Yeah.
So anyway, so over all those years and all those classes, when you look back at the Yoga with Melissa series, is there a series that kind of stands out to you that was a favorite, maybe?
The most recent one that comes to mind was this summer, the poetry.
Oh, yeah.
I adored that. Just loved that whole series. And got some good poetry out of it too. So that was really one of my favorites.
Did you have a favorite poem from that?
Wow, let me remember. I can't.
Or poet?
I can't pull it up. There was the one about, was there a poem about dance? It was like a woman.
That dance.
Woman spoke to, don't be afraid.
Let's see if we can find it.
I should have gone back and looked, but that's
okay. We can find it.
I would find it, and I would read them almost every day to people who wanted to listen.
Let me see if we can find that, because then I'll show a trick for finding things on my website too at the same time. Oh, I remember when I found that poem, I thought, I have to.
It was so powerful.
Yeah.
That one, I don't remember the.
So I'm typing in the search bar, poetry emotion series, and then I'm going to type in dance because it was a poem about dance.
Mm-hmm.
Be danced.
Be danced. Wow. That just, yeah. Oh, look at you.
Yeah, that was a fun, and that was when I was kind of playing around with Qigong and yoga.
I enjoy the Qigong. Yes.
That was Jewel Matheson. We have come to be danced, not the pretty dance, not the pretty pick me dance, but the claw your way back into the belly of the sacred sensual animal dance.
Yes. Oh, it's just so powerful.
Right? So good, that poem. That was a good one. Do you have a favorite poet that I didn't include in that series?
No, I can't say that I do. I love especially when you do, Mary Oliver, Wendell Berry, and it's like you're always picking up, and David White.
Yeah, David White's.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. So yeah, and I think another series I really enjoyed is the one that the inner critic. Enjoy is not maybe.
Yeah, enjoy is not the right word.
It impacted me, and I have not gone back to it, but it is one that I feel I could really devote some time to.
It's a tough series, I think it just sits in your psyche that I mean, everybody's brought that up in their interview pretty much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it comes up a lot when I interview people, and some people have gone back to it a few times, but I said, I taught that series, and every time I set the intention to go through it, it's like I never make it through that series. It's just too hard.
Yeah. Well, there's so many things that we can be doing. I mean, you're always giving us something new, so the time will come that we go back. But
it's quite a confronting series, though. But yeah, I think the first time through it, it's more befriending, but maybe the next I don't know. Sometimes you can use it as a stick too. But yeah, it's a good one. And I put it on my page. It sits on the front because I think it speaks to the kind of content that I create too. So that's a good one. It definitely stands out. Yeah. So and then there's the membership community, because you've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So are there favorites in there?
I've gotten so much from that. It's just beautiful. I mean, that's interesting. I always like to say I do yoga every day, and that can be from the morning tapping, which is daily thing. So if I don't do anything else, I've done that. And, you know,
Yeah, let me show
I
people where
walk
that
through
is.
the door, you know, from the kitchen to the front door, every other, you know, the brain yoga walk
Yeah, that's so perfect. You get that little
in the
bit of
morning.
crossover happening in your
Just
day.
begin the day.
So this is in the short video section. And this is good for people that are newer because I think this came out a little over a year ago now. It's in the morning sequences.
Huh.
When did this come
I
out?
have no,
2014. See?
oh, yeah.
More than that.
I didn't even know it was part of a series.
Series?
I think I thought it was one of your, like, living, you know, living your yoga, one of the little.
No. I think maybe I talked about it on there that I do it and then I filmed it for you guys.
Oh, that's
You guys
beautiful.
have it. So,
Awake your
and the
energy.
great thing about it is you only have to watch it. It's like 10 minutes. You only have to watch it once or twice and then you get it. Like Karen, you've got it all memorized now. And you
And
just do it
I
every
drink
morning.
my lemon water.
Right.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
The lemon water is you can grab that off the website.
That's in maybe your
Yeah, that's maybe
one of your blogs.
Yeah, and that's a really popular video, which is, you know, who would have thought, you know, squeezing some lemon in some warm water would be so popular.
I can tell when I don't do it for a few days. If
I know, it feels
I'm
good.
somewhere and I'm, you know, visiting or not at my house, I can always tell.
It's a good practice. It's very detoxifying and and also in the winters, right? So much vitamin C from that too. So
oh yeah.
Yeah. And very alkalinizing for your body. So lots of good things come from that. Yeah. So you start with your wake up your energy.
Oh, in the mornings. Yes.
In the mornings.
And I do, I almost always do yoga in the mornings. I get my day underway that way. And when I used to work full time, I would get up at 5:30 and do it because I need it in the morning. And now that I'm a freelancer, I can just wake up with the sun.
Nice.
You know, start my day. And sometimes I'm not actually doing a class till 9:30 in the morning. But that's when I like to do that.
So that's great because you probably find your days go with the seasons more.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
We get up later in the winter and earlier in the summer.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing to experience at, you know, this time in my life. I can just do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it would be nice if everybody had the freedom to do that. If we didn't have to follow the numerical clock, if we could follow the clock of the sun.
Yeah. The corporate world. Yeah. No, I mean, that's what, when I left, my husband said, well, we'll still get up at the same time. And I said, why? He had been a freelance artist since like 1983 or something, you know, and so that was sort of a real disciplined, strange thing to stop. You know, I would wake up automatically, of course, but then now I can just relax and I wake up and I get up. It's, of course, the summers we're, you know, up at 5, 6, you know, just because of the sunlight.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a great thing when your kids are grown and gone and you don't have to get them up for school. And
right. I mean, it's a different time of life. So it's if you're not embracing it, I don't know why I'm here. You know? Exactly.
Good for you. It's a healthier way to live. So I'm glad you spoke about that.
Yes, we are.
So what kind of, if you do some yoga classes, what kind of yoga do you like to do?
I always do the weekly.
Yeah.
And I love the ones like for SI joint and sciatica and various ones like that.
Yeah.
And, I do the connective tissue. I really have thought that was just an amazing introduction, something that's now a part of my life that I never knew before. The hands and the feet.
So do you have all the, like, do you have the soft foam roller and the slow-mo ball?
I don't. The only thing I don't have is that ball.
The slow-mo ball.
Yes. And it's, would probably be an act of courage for me to get that, because every time I look at you doing those things, I just go, oh, I couldn't possibly do that.
What about it scares you? I'm curious.
I don't know. It reminds me of there was some game when we were kids that you had to sit on a chair with a balloon. You had to pop a balloon by sitting on a chair.
Okay.
and even when I had one of the big medicine balls, to do core exercises with at one point, and just doing that, it'd be like, oh, I don't know, it's gonna burst.
You're afraid the
I have
ball's
strange anxiety about the ball. But I have the foam roller I love, and the squash balls. I mean,
yeah.
They're wonderful.
Well, you'll like February. We're gonna do Fascia February, so you'll enjoy that. We're gonna try and get everybody on board with the fascia.
Yeah.
So do you? It kind of that sounds really interesting to me. Based your class choices, I'm guessing because you do editing work, you sit a lot.
Oh, interesting. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So those classes, the SI joint, sciatica, the fascia, like just because of the sitting, it creates that kind of connective tissue. It's like the damming. It creates the compression where you sit. And then also the yoga classes you've chosen are really good for a lot of sitting. So I think it's interesting that that's what you've chosen.
I love and I like the restorative classes, and I'm not as athletic as I was, and which doesn't I can't do as much as I used to when I was in my 20s and 30s doing yoga, and it just you can tell what really feels right at a certain time, and I've had to just like let go of certain things that they're not good for me anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I do love the fascia classes, and the intelligent core, of course, and the one where you lay on the foam roller with the psoas, opening up the psoas.
Yeah.
All of that.
So I'm just going to show something to everybody here, because for those of you that like the intelligent core classes, if you go to the short video section, because that intelligent core class is really long, right?
Right.
So if you go to the I think I've gone past it now. Digestion, anxiety, traditional Chinese medicine, seasonal transition, brain, nurturing relationships section. These are like the worst videos ever. Connecting with the ground of yourself videos.
Okay.
And you go to, these are the worst named videos ever.
You always say that too.
I know. Okay, this one has the slow-mo ball in it.
Yeah. Okay. Part one.
So that's not really necessarily the good one for you. But these have all what I did was in part 1 and 2 and 3, I'm pretty sure in this, soft foam roller.
Mm-hmm.
These are they break down the intelligent core class into shorter blocks, 16 minutes. So here you're opening up the, let's see, like if I, here, there you go. See, there's that psoas release.
Oh, yes. Those show up a lot in the daily yoga connection, the segments that you're speaking of, I think.
Yeah, because I try to get the leaders to use them.
They're wonderful. No, they're wonderful.
Yeah, and I try to include them because they're good one. See these. So those are all psoas releasing postures. So this part, for those of you that like the intelligent core, I should probably rename these. That's a guided meditation. But the first 3 in these, I think, are shorter versions of it. That was the intention behind those.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you like the daily yoga connection then too?
Mm-hmm. I often do that. I don't, maybe I don't do all of them, but the leaders are always saying, just pick out the ones that you can do.
Yeah.
And on mornings that it fits into my schedule, to look through those. And it's a great source if you're, saying, I want to do yoga, but what can I do? And
yeah, it's nice that way.
the one we did today was the Monday, I guess, the Monday one. And it was perfect because it was about confidence and courage. And
Nice.
I was feeling nervous about having this interview.
Okay.
This is perfect. It's going to give me some backbone.
Yeah, so they're great because they tend to be timely.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the time of year when people are pretty stressed out. So we're trying to keep everybody calm
busy.
right
We're all busy, yes. That's good though.
Yeah, and the ones for the days of the week are shorter. And I'm the same as you, Karen. When I come into the DYC, I'm not a finisher in this section. I tend to pick.
I pick up the Friday class, so I often miss and the weekends are not. I usually only do one class on a weekend.
Yeah, well, it sounds like if you do the weekly class, you're probably doing one of those classes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So these are great, and also it tends to be where a lot of people in the membership community are hanging out too, so you can see what everybody else is doing, what they're up to here as well. So it's a nice spot to come and hang out, and it's timely. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to share about that is that you can also, this is one thing I've been liking to share in the interviews lately, is you can treat them like a playlist. So you don't necessarily have to do them in order. So if you want to keep calm, and it doesn't necessarily have to be December to do that. Or if you want to do anxiety, if you've got anxiety, you can come here and look. There's a whole bunch of classes for anxiety then. If you want to do brain yoga, there's a whole bunch of classes for brain yoga.
I love the brain yoga.
So you don't necessarily have to, or you want to do, you want balance. There's, you're going to get balance classes in here, or you want gratitude. So it's nice that way too. And then there's pages and pages and pages of it.
Oh, yes. I mean, you started it, didn't you? You were the first one, and then Carrie did it.
Yeah, Carrie did a lot of them. Let's come back to the first.
That was so...
Yeah, I started them, and see, they weren't even themed when I started. When we started it, it was like, here, try and do 3 classes this week. Mm-hmm. That was all we were saying. It really evolved over time. Gosh.
Yeah. Oh, it's very organized now.
And now, now it's like this. It's a very big production now. And then I'm not sure when Carrie came in. Carrie was in here for a couple of years, and over the years, different people have come in and shared their expertise, and it's a great training ground for new teachers to get their feet wet and to get their confidence up, because this community is very kind.
Yeah, well, that's because you've set the ground rules.
Yes, we've got really good ground rules. Whereas if you go into a studio or anywhere, community center, anywhere to teach, when you start teaching, you have to substitute teach. That's how you get your start. And it's like the worst place to start, because everybody's angry you're there because their teacher's not there.
Right. Same.
So
I substitute taught in schools, and it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Nobody wants to see you, and that's the worst way to start. So it's, if you're new to teaching and you want to get some experience and try things on in an environment that's going to be supportive, this is a really nice place to start.
Yeah.
There's a lot of training that happens behind the scenes and a lot of mentorship. So it's nice that way.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'd forgotten to mention, I may have posted about this a couple years ago, the connective tissue classes. So whenever that first came out, I did the hand one right before I went to my chiropractor one morning, and he was at the end, he said, I don't know what you did before you came here, but keep doing it.
I remember that kind of.
And I said, there's this wonderful connective tissue thing. And so now every time I go, I do the hands and the feet. And, it's always so, well, because it's hydrated, the whole, you can move so much easier and get the benefits.
So it makes it easier to receive the adjustment then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
So you have this incredible family.
Oh, it's a blended family,
Pardon me?
Yeah, it's a blended family.
Yes, you have a very large family.
Yes, we do. Yes. And
you've been through many ups and downs over the year.
Yeah. The last 5 years have been more downs than we were used to, but things are good right now. So
yeah,
everybody's healthy, and that's what you want.
How has your yoga practice supported you through that? Or
I can't imagine not going through anything without that, because especially the meditations, loving kindness especially has been very helpful, and just the breathing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes just remembering to breathe is so healing, and to take a step back from, I guess, detachment. I don't know that with you, or I know Ivy did some detachment devotional classes, and that's not an easy lesson. Because you want people to know that you care. And, it's a fine line between just stepping away and being able to care in the right way without smothering somebody or worrying them.
Imposing your agenda.
Yeah. What you think is best.
Right. Mm-hmm. I know, even when I hear you talk about something which is as complicated as having a family dinner for you and meeting everybody's needs for mm-hmm. what needs to be put on the table. Mm-hmm. I talk a little bit about that because I think you meet that ground with so much grace with your family.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, we're coming up on Christmas. We'll have 21 people here.
Yeah.
22 counting the newest baby, our great granddaughter, who was born in October. So she's very contented right now. We have a wonderful family. I mean, I'm only better for knowing everybody. So, because I had a very small family. So then all of a sudden I marry this man that has 5 children. And I had one. I had a sister, and I had one child.
Wow.
And he went from being an only child to the youngest of 6.
Wow.
So it was really an amazing time. But all the kids, they just love their dad, Barry, so much. And there was a time in their life where he was their sole parent. But then, some of them then were with their mom and everything. And my son loves him, and his kids love me. And doesn't mean you don't have issues, but it's, I don't know, we've made it work. And I don't, I'm happy that it comes off that I am graceful, because sometimes there's a lot of stress, but I don't know. Everybody just cares so much. I think, they want the best for others.
I'm curious what advice you would have for people in big families, how to navigate those times.
I don't feel like could give advice. I don't know. I've learned so much from them too. My stepdaughter Bridget, who was so ill with cancer for 3 years, and she's fine now. And then her husband, just boom, had to have a stem cell transplant, and he was in the hospital for 11 weeks. And I watched. They are so inspirational because they started living their life for now, which is what we intellectually all know we're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But when here are 2 relatively young people with a 10-year-old daughter facing they don't know what. They made such beautiful decisions, and I thought, boy, I don't know. There's just inspiration. So from that and through the years, I think it's just listen more than my dad used to say, I was talking when I was supposed to be listening. So that's always good to really try to hear what somebody's saying to you, not jump in with what I think is the solution. And take advantage of right now. And doesn't mean, you're not going to be irresponsible and, spend every dime that you have. But just to take, just do the things that are important. And for them and for us, it is getting together with the family. We don't do a lot of it, and when we do, it's big and rowdy. We actually have our son-in-law is from South Africa, and his niece and her boyfriend are here this year and they just can't wait to have an American Christmas. And they've heard so much, and yes, we will sit around the piano and sing carols, and some people do and some people don't. The little ones run around and bang tambourines and stuff, and it's just really it's very sweet and exhausting. Yeah, but it's great. So
yeah, it sounds like it'll be great fun.
It will be wonderful.
And you'll need to sleep for 2 days after.
No, it'll be fine. It's really it's all about the only thing I do is Christmas. That's not really true, but I mean the big do is our Christmas, and so everybody's here except for my son and his wife. They live in California and they won't be here, but they're closer than when they lived in Hawaii. Let's just say that.
I think that's a pretty big testament too to creating a welcoming space for your kids.
Yeah. Well, my husband and I, from the very beginning, that was our goal, I think he said it, like, I want to provide a sanctuary, to where anybody, and I mean, even their friends, and then there came a point in time when we decided, nah, I don't know about that sanctuary. I think it's time for you to go do your own thing. But a safe place, a safe place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've brought that intention to fruition then in a
I think so.
way. That's nourished you and them.
It is. That's the big lesson, to open up to others. Then you do. It's not just give. You're receiving so much.
Outside of your family, is there and your yoga, what else nourishes you in your life?
Oh, well, I guess the biggest thing is probably our little lake cottage that we spend summers in. And when I'm there, that's my soul place, under the pine trees. I do my yoga outside under the pines, and we have a nice community of friends, and then various family members, of course, come for visits, and it's a small little place, and it's rustic, but we really love it, and it's such a great balance between, the regular life, even though there's nothing unreal about that place. Right. There's nothing unreal about being there. But when I'm there, I mean, I dance and I twirl around and, I do all the stuff that, and when I'm home, I guess because I think, well, I'm happy here. Why aren't I twirling here? It's just, there's more responsibility here, it seems.
It sounds like you're a little more immersed in nature there too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we go walking in the woods, and I have a kayak, and I go out on the lake, and just the walks and everything. And I'll do that here, but that's a little walk into 2 blocks away where our main street of the town is, so
Yeah.
And that's good too. It just, I like, it's nature. You're right. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, and it is different. Just, change of scenery is really good. And it is different when you just remove yourself from the scenery of responsibilities too, because you work in your home.
I work at the lake, and my husband, we built a studio, and he paints there all summer long, and we move everything up there. We run our business from there.
Okay.
But it just seems so much easier, and I know it's a mindset. I mean, and I have to go to the laundromat there. I don't even have a washing machine. But it just seems like, oh, this is so wonderful. I'm just going to take my clothes and get in the car and drive 20 minutes to get to where I'm going. And there's always time enough. Whereas here, if I have to go somewhere and I'd be like, oh, I only have 5 minutes. So, the balance, it is a good balance. I wouldn't want to be there all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that eventually that would just become probably maybe the way I, just what it does. But anyway.
Sometimes I think it's the collective energy of a place too, when you're in a urban dwelling too, it has its own energy.
Yes.
Like living here in Victoria versus living in Toronto. I mean, that place, Toronto was like frenetic. And since we've come here, we've come way down.
Yes.
Now I live here and I go out to Machosen and it feels like, Victoria's frenetic. I need to get out of Victoria,
It's so beautiful though, where you are. Yeah.
Well, it absolutely is. But then you get your set point gets changed,
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're like, I need to get off this island and get to another island, where it's not so intense.
Well, speaking of islands, we do go to Ireland almost every year. And I love that island,
Yeah, beautiful.
Drive around those little roads. And we have lots of friends there. And that's just another place I feel really drawn to and peaceful. And I have some poetry friends there that I met through a job I was doing to get poetry from various people. And they're soul sisters, we're together. So all of those things are so life affirming that just like to be in it and enjoy it.
Is that how you started going to Ireland every year through your work, through the poetry?
No, we just went because we wanted to, and Barry came back inspired to begin to paint, and he's always earned a living as an artist, but as a graphic designer and an editorial artist for newspapers and things. And he started oil painting, and that was in 1998. And so then that was his inspiration. So we would go and drive to different places and take photographs, and that would be the stimulation. And then for several years we had a little calendar that was through a publisher that he did the photography and I did the editorial. And I would put poetry excerpts from, Yeats or Joyce or somebody that people knew, but also in the process I just met current contemporary poets. And, that was just fun, but that was 4 years of a really good gig.
No kidding. And then you just continue to go back every year now.
Yeah. And he has, a lot of it has to do with his art, because sometimes we're delivering a painting to someone or,
oh, wow.
that has bought a piece of his work. And so that's always a good excuse. Oh, well, we have to take it to them. It's a business trip now.
It's expensive delivery charges.
Yeah, well, not as expensive as the customs over there. It's very expensive to get things in over, and the people that are buying them get surprised. Then they have to pay, like, oh, I didn't pay extra. So, yeah. So sometimes we take them. We don't always. But
is that one of Barry's pieces behind you on above your head?
Oh, way up there?
Yeah, way up there. The
Yeah.
trees in the snow.
Actually, dead ferns in the snow.
Dead ferns in the snow. Okay.
Yes, from our backyard. He did paint that. He doesn't like it, and I do like it, so I have it in my office. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Tim has a photograph that's my favorite photo of his, and he doesn't like it, but I love it. It's over our bed.
Oh, no, I mean, I have, well, that's lucky you have that. No, we have art all through the house because, we're always rotating through and
Yeah.
getting new things if they're not somewhere else. But yeah, I love that. And he just never liked it. So I thought, well, I'm going to take that one for a while.
It's so personal art, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, you would know. You're really blooming.
Well, yeah, like Tim has pieces that he loves that he's done, and I'm like, really? I don't really care for them, and I'm sure it's the same for him. He's so encouraging, though. He would never say.
Well, do you critique each other well? I mean, you work together, so.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yeah, because I just did that yesterday on a painting of I said, well, my heart is pounding, but I just have to say something. And Barry's like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that. Oh, I'm so glad you said that,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, well, no, that's the way I see it, and I don't, but that's
usually it's a style thing, right?
Visuals.
Usually between us, it's a style thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a much more feminine style, and then some of the pieces he really likes is like people like things that are a different style, but it's not that they're not good; they're incredible.
No, and it's not a value judgment,
right? No,
it's just not. I don't. My eye doesn't go there first. My eye went there. I don't know what you want people to see, but
yeah. That's useful feedback.
Yeah. Well, I it's a learning process, because you don't want to, burst somebody's bubble.
Yeah, particularly our men.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what it's like to live where you live?
Okay, we live outside of Philadelphia, but it's only like about 10 minutes on the train into Center City. But it's really a village, even though there's no way you would know that. But I mean, it's just like a little borough, and there's a playground, and there's a main street that has a bank and a hardware store and a French patisserie that you can sit outside, and a little grocery store and a movie theater and a post office. And we are 2 blocks from the train station, and that we can get on the train and go into the city. And then the little village is just, charming. And we've been here for almost 32 years.
Wow.
The only place that, we got married and we moved here. So
you love it.
That's the only home that we've ever had outside of the lake, which has been 10 years. That we have very, very good friends in the community. And, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of, sometimes it doesn't, I've never lived anywhere like this growing up, but now I've lived here longer than I've lived any place else. Right. I guess it is home.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Anything else you want to let people know before we close out today?
No, I guess not. I did want to tell you I love the Qigong class. That when you open up the heart.
Yeah, that's been a very popular class.
That a lot.
Yeah, I'll have to do some more of that.
Yeah, so I just enjoy everything. I love your vlogs.
They're fun. We're having so much fun with them.
Well, I mean, it would be.
They're fun from a creative perspective. Like for me, I think about them at like visual poetry. I think about creating visual poetry with them and visual storytelling. So it's so interesting, the decision to start them versus the decision to continue them. It's very different because we've been doing them for almost a year. Yeah. So from a creative perspective, working on them with Tim, and Tim's just such a brilliant editor, that I can give him all these clips and he can put it together with music and create, we can have these discussions about what it is we want to create, and he can just come up with what I am envisioning. It's great
for you. Yeah, because I know what it's like to be in a creative partnership, and it's so fulfilling. I mean, it's just, it's so great to have somebody you can bounce ideas off of, and so I am passionate about that, about my partner, about my husband, and we've managed to, earn a living together all these years. Patch together 4 or 5 different jobs to keep, supporting ourselves. And I know it's not easy, and it takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah, you guys should be proud of that, raising a family like that. It's self-employed and doing that in a creative realm. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of hard work.
It takes a lot of discipline, and it's not all fun. And you do jobs you don't want to do sometimes.
It's not all fun, and I think there's a lot of behind the scene work that people just wouldn't anticipate. Yeah.
People have said to me, well, I just could never work at home. I would just never get the job done. And I say, if you want to get paid, you get the job done. Because
you want to pay your mortgage or your
off, the sooner you're going to get paid.
Yeah. If you want to eat and pay your mortgage or your rent, or
if you actually
put shoes on your children's feet.
So it's a big decision, and it is very satisfying. And we have an entire creative family. I mean, there's other artists, there's musicians, there's, writers. It's just like everybody is sort of like, you tell your kids you can do anything you want, just believe in it. And then they actually believed us, Oh no, you're actually going to do this. Yeah.
I'm curious, did any of your children go the self-employed route?
Yes. Let me think. Are they? Yes. And some of them have other jobs, but they do have, like, one couple has a nonprofit, and one, and they teach art to, children, girls in prison, and, but they also have another job.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
So not to the degree that you guys did.
No, not at this point. But they're younger. We didn't do it either until.
Not till later.
No, I didn't do it until 1989. I don't remember how old I was. Barry was probably, he left in 83, left the corporate world in 83. So, it's.
Yeah, we've never known anything but, and honestly, it's been tough. We had a lot of debt for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And still, we don't live the high life at all. We bootstrap ourselves all the way.
I know.
Yeah. But the one thing that we do have is our own integrity, and we work, and we get to choose what we want to do. And I don't see very many other people in our arena getting to do that. They're very much, when you are trying to work for the dollars, you at some point there's a little bit of sellout that has to happen,
right. And it can be, for me, and I do credit Barry for this, because for me, I was doing a job that I had loved, and then things changed, as they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was coming home just, he said, if you could see your face when you walk in the door, you would never go. And I would be like, I felt like I had to keep it up. So he suggested slowly why don't you do this little freelance job? Why don't you just slowly build it up? And then I had to really just like leap into the void with faith for years afterwards, I thought, well, if I have to go back to work, I can do this. I just didn't believe it would last. I mean, I wanted it to, but I was so worried because I loved it so much being on my own.
Yeah.
But last months of that job were just awful, just terrible. And I was suffering physically. You can't keep going. Whatever you say, the sun doesn't say to the moon. I love that. I'm going to push on through today.
Yeah.
Push on through because I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
It has to leave.
It has to set. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's true. And I think that happens to all of us when we're working where we're not supposed to be working, right? Even if we're doing the right thing. I mean, that was happening for me too when I was teaching. I was teaching in classes, and I was getting that message like, no, it's time for you to leave and teach on the bigger stage. And I had been getting that message so clearly for so long. And I was like, but I can't leave these people.
Oh, right? Of course. Well, yes, you had that. Yeah.
But that was so hard. But then I got really sick, and it was like, you know what? You have to go now. You can't do everything.
Your body gave you the excuse.
Right. Yeah. And I think that happens for so many people.
Mm-hmm. Right. It would be nice if we didn't have to do that. If we could just do it.
If we could just listen to the little nudges instead of the big crashes.
Big bang on the head.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, we're all, I guess that's just what it's about. Learning and evolving and changing and making those decisions to do something you just don't really want to do. Well, you're so afraid.
So afraid.
Something right around the corner, and I just didn't want to go around the corner to see it. And then when I did, it was just miraculous. It was the best thing. Here is,
the funny thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Karen. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed it.
I did too. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday with your family.
Thank you. Yes, we will.
Good.
This is good.
You did fine. Do you have any advice for anybody else that I asked to do an interview with?
No. Yeah. If it feels like it's your time to go and do it, then you can do it.
Yeah. You had a little reservation and it was okay.
But now it's like, I think I could do that. Yes. So,
yeah.
Right.
It's all good.
Yes, it is. And you're great, and I appreciate everything you do. And Tim and Trinity, I mean, it's a group effort there.
It is a group effort, Tim and Trinity and all our leaders, and we're putting together a secondary leadership team of moderators for the Daily Yoga Connection now. So there's loads of people behind the scene making things happen. So we really appreciate everybody who contributes to keeping our membership community humming, and everybody who does these interviews too, because it makes our community come alive.
It does. I really enjoy looking at them. So as I said to you, I guess I need to be one if I like looking at other people. Who am I to sit back and...
That's right.
That's not the way it works.
Yeah, you can't just be a lurker.
Nope.
Okay. Thanks, Karen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.